Welcome to this week's episode of Lagnapod. I'm your host, Rob Holbert, and go around the table, boys.
This is Scott Johnson.
Kyle Hamrick.
Grant McLaughlin.
Tommy Hicks.
Okay, Ashley is out on assignment. She's doing something. I don't know. She's off today.
Top secret.
She's not really on assignment. She's doing something today. But so we are in the midst of Halloween Gate here. This is turned into something else.
Wow. Lots of kudos for that one. Wow.
Yeah, we got these are the kinds of things that I know people think that you're like overjoyed at the newspaper when these kinds of things happen, and none of us really are. We're just kind of like, this is ridiculous stuff, but it is news nonetheless. But we just started getting some calls and emails yesterday about Sheriff Paul Birch's Halloween display at his home.
It's too scary.
It's too frightening.
It's too frightening.
So he has some skeletons dressed up as ICE agents chasing what appear to be skeletons in Mexican blankets and sombreros that are climbing a fence. And it's certainly an entertaining take on today's current events, I suppose. Yeah. That also did not really, strike a good note with a lot of people in the community. Of course, a lot of people think it's hysterical.
Yeah.
Because this is the world we live in right now. And so
very mixed reactions.
Sure, I'd say they're pretty evenly split between people who are just super upset about it and people who think it's just the funniest thing they've ever seen.
Yeah.
Or that it's the sheriff's right to have it, which it is his right to have.
It is.
Whatever Halloween display that he wants to have in his yard, and that's fine. It's, of course, other people's right to be offended by it or to think that it's not the smartest thing in the world for a politician, an elected official to do, especially one who's involved in apprehending people who are here without papers or illegally and handling that. And, so his wife, Scott, I know you wrote the story, but Birch wouldn't talk about it.
Yeah. He's not released any statements. I reached out, gave him, plenty of time to respond to us. And it wasn't until we had posted that we heard from the sheriff's office, but basically the sheriff's office said, hey, this doesn't involve the sheriff's office. You can ask, Birch and Birch's family. And then his wife issued a statement.
I get that more as a thing, like the sheriff's office didn't want to deal with this.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's like, whatever the sheriff does, that's what the sheriff, it's.
Yeah. There's some compartmentalizing there, where the sheriff is wearing a hat, I guess, at home, where he's not wearing he's
wearing his different hat at home. He's wearing a sheriff hat at home, and I don't know what else. His ice hat.
His ice hat at home. Sombrero or something.
Yeah. God. So, they did the same thing with, what was that story? When he came out and criticized that one judge.
Yes.
The dog bridge.
Yeah. His office did that same thing. You can ask the sheriff. It wasn't in his capacity as sheriff he said that. But
typically, we're not allowed to call the sheriff, though.
Yeah,
we're not.
We're asked to call the PR.
We're asked to call the PR people. Just saying.
So his wife ended up releasing a statement through a local attorney.
So they lawyered up for this statement. Yes.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yes.
And essentially said, this is something I do every year, which I understand is what is true, but she says I always try and do something that's tongue-in-cheek, that has
a tropical theme.
A topical theme.
I thought it was it topical or tropical?
It was just topical.
Oh, topical. Why did I misunderstand it as tropical?
I misread it the first time.
Oh, okay. You read it to me as tropical.
Yes,
okay. It was topical.
Topical.
Okay.
My fault.
I thought it was tropical. I'm like, what's tropical about this? But anyway.
And then
they had pina coladas in their hands, I guess, but that was not very tropical. Okay, it's topical.
Okay, yes,
all right.
And
get my hearing checked.
So and then she basically follows up and says, this, kind of a playing on my Cuban heritage. She is the daughter of immigrants,
right,
from Cuba, and then also with the in light of the needed changes, she said, with the ICE enforcement nationwide. So, it definitely struck a accord, and as of right now, she's just saying Birch had nothing to do with it.
Right.
And,
I mean, we had some local people who were upset by it, including a lady who's a spokesperson for Latino community in the area. I think it's Latin Fest this weekend too, so the timing is great. But the thing that when this came up, the first thing I think all of us said is, okay, well, this is probably about to become a national story. And by about 11 o'clock last night, the New York Post ran it.
Yeah,
and the Daily Beast.
Yeah, it's been picked up by just about. It's gonna be bigger. I'm sure it'll get more.
I kind of just rolled my eyes because I was trying to work on some other stuff I got cooking, and tangent here.
Right, I know. Right. These are the things we're doing. You're trying to do. You're trying to actually dig into things and do some stuff, and then a politician puts a display in their front yard that's a little bit that causes half the town to lose their mind one way or the other. It's
that's the business we call show.
Well, this is the thing.
Happens.
Look, it's his Halloween display if he wants to do it, and I know Sheriff Birch is prone to making some kind of salty statements from time to time, and that's his business. That's fine. This is one of those things I would just call an unforced error. If you want to spend your entire day or two arguing about your Halloween display, then this is a great way to do it. I mean, this is exactly the kind of thing you should do.
Yeah, it's just very potent, I guess. Is that the right appropriate word? Just because it comes off a week where he was facing criticism all week last week for video of his deputies forcibly arresting somebody,
tasing a guy during a bunch of illegal immigrants that were caught and tased and
just bad PR last week for him already, and then for that to pop up over the weekend. This subject is one that is obviously fraught with a lot of emotion for people, and I mean, there's certainly things you can look at and say, okay, I know the standard thing is if they're here illegally, they're doing something illegal. Okay. Is it illegal for people to hire them? Yeah.
Yes. Is anybody getting written tickets for hiring them or being arrested for hiring them? No. Yeah. So people are picking and choosing. Yeah. Are the farmers asking for dispensations to have people come and pick their veggies and things like that? Yes, they are. Are the people in the home builders over in Baldwin County, are they complaining about the inability to get their houses built because of the loss of workers from other countries, immigrant workers? Yes, they are. So this isn't a easily cut and dry issue that is just right or wrong. They're here illegally, therefore they must be bad. And then again, also there's lots of people there are people who have been pulled in, grabbed, who are here legally, either via visas or actual citizens. So this is again not a cut and dry issue, but the one thing you're absolutely certain of is it pisses off everybody.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like, okay, half the country hates this, half the country loves it. And so if you are a politician wading into that with your Halloween outfit, your Halloween decorations, it's not the greatest idea in the world to me. Yeah.
Like you said, it's a good way to take up your entire day. And
it certainly took up all of yours. It was fun. It was fun to watch you run around on that. But I mean, kind of to give a little bit of kudos where I feel it's due. Sheriff Birch did not return requests for comment on this one, but you just mentioned it last week. He has explained how his deputies, act in the field when it comes to undocumented immigrant enforcement.
Yeah.
Last week there were a lot of questions raised about why this person, why this immigrant was tased and then forcibly restrained. And he called a press conference just to talk to about it with reporters. So, maybe he doesn't feel like his own personal business should be put out there. Shouldn't comment on it as much, but I do feel like when people within his department are being questioned, he he definitely does the utmost to be transparent.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think he's doing a good job overall. I'm not down on him for that. I just think it's this is one of those things. It's like if he'd called me up and said, "This is what I'm thinking about doing in my front yard," I'd say, "Just get ready, because people are gonna go crazy." I mean, if he was just asking me for advice, should I do this? I would say I wouldn't do it in my yard. But, if that's the way you feel, like if it feels like you're going to, if that is somehow helping the situation in America, if that is somewhat, I mean, I don't necessarily think that it is a great idea if you're a local politician to just stir the anger that is already out there. And I mean, there's just angry people. And so, doing something like this, I mean, his neighbors, they're calling us saying, we hate it. It looks terrible. Not all of them. I'm sure some of them love it. I'm sure some people have gone by there and given him a thumbs up. I mean, certainly online, the reaction to it is a mixed bag. Of course, it also has devolved into people calling each other names and screaming at each other online. But, that's, but again, it's his deal. If he wanted to do it, I mean, he got what he wanted to do, I guess. I don't know.
Speaking of mixed bag, speaking of mixed bag, the real question that I have is what kind of candy is he going to be handing out to go with this display?
Yeah.
Because
you've got a bold diorama.
Not hot tamales.
Not hot tamales?
Not hot tamales. Definitely not. No.
He's not going to do that?
No.
All right.
No way.
What no one is commenting on this? There's two things. Paul Birch knows how to mow his lawn.
That's very nice.
And he did, in fact, go whole hog and set these undead ice agents up with lights. With solar panels. He's gone green.
I mean, it's a nice production. I mean, his wife says she's going to do something else soon. I don't know if that means this Halloween or not. I mean, who knows? It may be, journalists being hauled in. I don't know. But
it's Paul Birch answering questions of the press.
This is just when you run for public office, this is part of it. And especially in these days. And I mean, I know that this is a very deep red area, but there still are a whole bunch of people who don't necessarily agree with every single thing that is going on at the federal level and are going to be offended by it. So it was bound to happen.
Breaking. The Guardian posted the story 4 minutes ago.
Okay, so now it's international now.
The
now it's gone
Manchester Guardian.
Yeah,
Blimey, what's going on in Mobile today? That's kind of from Queensland. That's more Australian.
That sounded like it sounded like I mean
you're gonna catch
the crocodile hunter that was upset by that. I don't know, a little bit.
By Jove.
Hi, mate. Good day. What's the shaft doing over there?
What's the shaft of Mobile?
All right, we're going to stop with these bad accents, and we're going to take a break and come back and talk to Tommy Hicks about sports. We'll be right back. We are back. Speaking of scary things earlier, South's looking a little scary these days. It's
1 and 5.
That's rough. That's rough. It's not. That's not what we expected this season.
Not what we expected at all. I mean, expected them to.
They were projected to be sort of middle of the pack, right?
Yeah.
They
were picked there in the middle of the league.
Not as the dog at the back of the sled team who has the worst view.
Yeah,
right.
The worst view of all. So it's they just. I mean, they haven't played badly. They just have not been able to finish.
Right.
They've made little mistakes from game 1 to game 6.
Yeah, it's not like they're getting blown out. They're playing well. They're getting close.
They played Auburn respectably.
Yes.
But then you lose to Coastal, which was a team that hadn't scored any points, scored 38 against
that was a little rough.
That was rough. And then you lose to Troy at Troy when they're playing with their second number 2 quarterback because their number 1 quarterback's injured and out, and let them, have a big day running and throwing against you. So it's just been the little things, been penalties, holding penalties, delays. false starts. I mean, the little things that have just kind of
same thing that goes on around here all the time.
Yeah,
delays and false starts. Yes.
Here, some delays.
There's definitely some delays.
Damn sure some penalties.
Yeah, there's plenty.
So, I mean, they've got 6 games left. They got to win them all but one to finish eligible for a bowl invitation. Well, so, and it's all Sun
they've
Belt
got the
games.
Parts, though. They could
do it. I mean, they could do that, but there's going to be some tough games. Southern Miss is playing well.
Yeah.
They start off, they won't play this Saturday because they have a Tuesday game.
Oh, that's right.
On ESPN2 next on the 14th against Arkansas State at home.
Okay.
So that's where it all begins. They need to see what they can do to start making a late drive.
A little time off, a little extra time to prepare.
Will not hurt.
The Tuesday game could get them going.
Yeah, we'll see.
Lucky Tuesday, Magic Tuesday, right?
Magic Tuesday the 14th.
And then we had a local team do something that's pretty amazing this week is move to number 1, St. Michael.
St. Michael, just their 9th year.
Yeah.
Their first 4 years, they were 5-25. And now Phillip Rivers has come in and taken over. This is his 5th year.
Is it his 5th year?
5th year.
Has he been here that long?
He's been here
I was thinking 3rd year.
No, this is his
Man.
5th. Yeah.
Where have I been?
They are, I believe, 35-15 up to date with Rivers as head coach. They went 12-2 last year. Only 2 games they lost. Both games they lost were to Jackson.
Yeah.
One in the state semifinals. So they made the state semifinals in their 8th year as a program, which is pretty impressive.
That's very impressive.
And then so this past week they went to Jackson.
Ashley's alma mater.
She's
hiding because of this, I think.
I think that's probably so. Why don't you take?
She was the mascot. She was the actual Aggie. She got to be out there and walk. She got to walk around.
Scary stuff.
And be the Aggie. Yeah, I've seen the pictures.
It's like the Texas Chainsaw right there.
It did look a little
bit.
Some
Leatherface.
It did look a little bit like Leatherface or that pumpkin that's all zipped up from Halloween.
They could have used her Friday.
But anyway, so
they could have used her Friday.
So St. Michael came up and beat Jackson, which
49-39.
That's a big win.
Very convincing. I mean, St. Michael, you're talking about that were at the game, which is impressive. There were at least 4 college scouts at the game, including South Carolina head coach Shane Beamer was there because Landon Duckworth, the Jackson quarterback, has committed to there. He's there kind of protecting his territory.
Yeah.
E.J. Crowell, the running back.
How does that work? Does he just if other coaches start to talk to him, he just
slaps
him? Get away from my guy.
Get away from my guy. You don't want to talk. Hey, you don't want to talk to him.
Yeah.
E.J. Crowell is the Alabama commit. He's reclassifying. We know about that now because of Ryan Williams. Well, he's reclassifying so much that he will graduate this December instead of next.
Okay. So we'll have another one where everybody's talking about how young he is.
Everybody's talking about being 17 years old and carrying the football next year. He had more than 340 yards rushing against St. Michael.
Wow.
One game.
Wow.
And they came out on the losing end.
Insane.
Because Gunnar Rivers had a pretty good game himself.
I was going to say, you got Gunnar Rivers there too.
5 touchdowns. Threw for 5 touchdowns.
There might have been a few coaches looking at him too.
There's a couple. Already. There's a few offers already on the table.
Yeah.
I know that he had visited Alabama, Auburn, North Carolina State, his father's alma mater, and I believe Texas during the summer. But then there's going to be a whole bunch more. They have said that he won't seriously start looking at where he wants to go until this December after the season.
I'm curious whether
maybe the spring he'll make an announcement.
I'm curious whether the Rivers boy will supersede the Manning boy that is at Texas. We'll see. He's definitely has an opportunity.
Doesn't look bad.
doesn't look bad for him. Doesn't look bad. Yeah, he's pretty
Texas
good.
Texas is one of the teams that apparently is quite interested in Mr. Rivers. So
that's good.
And already have a local one up there with KJ Lacey from Saraland. There. So it's going to be interesting.
That's cool. That's very cool. And then I think we've got volleyball going on right now.
Volleyball is this week is the last week of regular season. They will start their area tournaments next week. It's really big here because we had 4 state champions last year. We had McGill in 7A, we had Spanish Fort in 6A, UMS in 5A, and I believe Mobile Christian in 3A. So all of those teams are doing well. Again, the other teams are doing really well. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out the rest of the way.
All right. Well, thank you, Tommy. We're going to take a quick break, folks. We'll come back and talk a little bit about fake meat and other things. All right, we're back. Grant, you've got the cover story this week, which is a cool story. I did not know this was going on, but we've got a bunch of people currently paddling like crazy, and that's not a Herman Thomas reference. He's not involved here.
Yeah,
but paddling down the waterways of Alabama.
I'll start off by saying I discovered this story at 2:00 in the morning while doom scrolling on my phone.
Okay.
Right. I like to engage in some recreational watercraft. I like to paddle, and I was just looking for fun stuff to do. And I found this race. So it is the longest solo paddle race in the United States. It's 650 miles long.
So when you say longest solo paddle race, obviously it means one person in one boat, right?
That's correct. Okay. Yes. There are other races throughout the North American continent, like the Yukon 1000.
I saw that you wrote about that in there. That's 1,000.
That's 1,000 miles, but there you got to do it with at least one other person
and a motor, right? That one you can have no motor.
No motors.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So I mean,
but this one has this one in the state has you've got different categories. You can have two people in a boat. In a canoe,
you've got three categories. That for each winning in each category gets you $2,000.
That sounds
and for a $500 entry fee, that's a pretty good investment right there.
Oh, yeah.
So if you win it outright, as the first solo male paddler gets $2,000, the first female solo paddler gets $2,000, and then of course the first tandem team to finish.
Okay.
And I got to shout out Trey Reeves here. I think he is from the state of Alabama. I believe he is from Florence.
Okay.
But he has won this thing twice already.
Okay.
And so he's kind of repping this. He's kind of seeking to defend the state's title.
He's on his home water.
Yeah, and he's in his late 40s.
Hey, you know what? That won't seem so old to you and not all that long. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
So says the man in his mid-50s.
Late 40s sounds great, doesn't it, Tommy?
One of the other big competitors is Gary Johnson from outside of London.
Yeah.
And he's in his mid-50s. And they're
ancient.
What they're really interestingly here is what they've been telling me is that they've been athletes their entire lives.
Yeah.
They Gary specifically has been an ultra runner, which is basically like the Superman version of a cross country runner. And he was telling me as he's gotten older, he's looking for things to do that a man his age can do, and this type of athletic competition
sitting in a canoe paddling 650 miles. That's
requires discipline.
That's not something a man my age wants to do. I'm not doing that. But so they come down. Do they come down the Tombigbee Waterway, or where are they coming down?
They're starting up in Wise Lake, which is in the northeast corner.
Yeah.
And then they're going down, I believe it's like 6 or 7 different rivers.
Right.
But they're not coming down through the Tombigbee Waterway. They're crossing basically down the Alabama Scenic River Trail, which for those of you wondering what that is,
I didn't know that existed.
You can actually look it up and you can paddle at any time.
Yeah.
But then they'll eventually make their way they should be doing it actually tomorrow, the Mobile-Tensaw River Delta.
So they'll come through the Delta and into Mobile Bay.
And then they're going to cross the bay.
Past the dredging and then into Fort Morgan.
Yeah, so they're going to cross the bay, and then they're going to go, I think it's about 50 miles once they cross to the eastern shore and all the way down to Fort Morgan. And that's the hardest part of the competition, actually.
Yeah. Because they're out. Are they in the Gulf when they're doing that?
Yeah. Once you get to Fort Morgan, you're in the Gulf.
They go out into the Gulf? Okay.
Well, that's because
I just didn't know if they were in the intercoastal,
that's where the bay meets the Gulf. So
I'm aware of that part. But
they ride the coast of the eastern shore and all the way down to Fort Morgan.
Gotcha. Okay, that'll be interesting for canoes on the bay. On the Gulf, that could be a little dicey.
Yeah, one of the guys who told me about this competition said the bay is the worst part.
Yeah.
Because the rivers are completely they have a lot of different types of water, but they're mostly not they're not very aggressive or wild.
The Bay is a saucy lass. You never know what she might be doing. I can tell you that. She might just rear up and throw these guys out of their canoes.
And on that note, y'all go read the story. Make my time worth it.
It's good. It's a good story. Switching gears a little bit, you were, Kyle, you were at they had a Republican meeting of people running for office in 2026 of next year. We're already getting ready for next year's election.
For it.
We had people who are interested in running for a variety of offices. And so who all was there? I think you had, you had people running for, you don't have to name them all.
Yeah.
Because
we have a run for the Alabama Senate. We had Steve Marshall and Barry Moore.
The U.S. Senate.
The U.S. Senate. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's not the Alabama Senate.
The state's seat in the U.S. Senate.
Gotcha.
Steve Marshall and Barry Moore. Then we had Jerry Carl back in the saddle again.
Running for District 1.
Running on the Vengeance Tour. Then we had the Secretary of State candidate, Caroline Dobson.
Right.
An old face around here.
I don't know that she would like that terminology, but she
familiar face.
Let's say familiar.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, she's not very old.
And then we had for the Ag Commissioner, Christina Werner McInnes, who's from Orange Beach.
Yeah.
And our old buddy Jack Williams from the State Senate.
That was the fascinating thing to me. Jack Williams did not show up.
He couldn't make it.
But he sent the publisher of the Citronelle Call News to rep for him,
who is apparently his longtime friend,
Willie Gray, yes, who has run for public office himself as a newspaper publisher, which typically is not a thing people do in our business.
And he's on the personnel board.
Yes, he
for
is.
Mobile County.
Yes,
he's also a longtime best buddy.
Right.
Of Jack. They used to farm hogs back
but they're terrified. He apparently, in speaking for Jack, he is very upset about lab-grown meat.
That's right.
Yes.
Which Jack got banned, I think last year or the year before. Lab-grown meat. You can't have it in this state.
We cannot grow meat in the lab in Alabama. We can't
grow meat in the lab. And Willie talked briefly on how bad this is.
Because it's liberals that are doing it, right?
He said that they take a cell, they inject it with chemicals,
I'm sorry.
They grow
the scientific explanation of this lab-grown meat was insane.
Grow it into, and this was his words, into something that resembles a beef roast. And he said these were liberals that were doing this. So this was part. This was brought up.
That's good stuff.
This was brought up as part of Willie's pitch for Jack, that because Jack is a farmer, raises cattle, has a nursery, he knows how to raise the food, and he knows how to keep the food safe.
He don't cotton to no lab-grown meat.
Lab-grown meat. We don't do that.
If you serve him a roast at your house, he's going to look at it.
He is going to check
inspect it.
Is this beef or lamb?
Is this just a bunch of chemicals in a cell?
In a cell, or is it some genuine bovine meat?
We need a bovine rump here. Yeah,
it
was anyway. That was interesting stuff.
It was funny.
That was funny. The highlight of the meeting in some ways, but they had a lot of folks out there.
Yes, and that's not even all who was running.
Right.
There's like 30,000 people who's trying to run for office in this state on the Republican ticket only.
Well, yeah, I mean, because if you want to win,
right? That's what you got to do. You got to play the game.
Not going to win much on the Democratic ticket these days.
No,
that's a fascinating. And then I think that also, just speaking of meat, I think rotisserie chickens got a shout out at that.
Yes, they did.
They must have been hungry or something.
They had some hot dogs from the Dewdrop, and I guess that didn't tide folks over because we got on the lab-grown meat. And then the other candidate for Ag Commissioner, McInnes, said, that her friend State Rep Donna Loxley. I'm sorry, I messed it up. Donna Givens from Loxley has filed a bill to get the rotisserie chickens sold in stores covered by SNAP.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that's something that she thinks is a good idea. Yeah, because it's good protein.
Beats the hell out of eating the Skittles.
It definitely is better for you than Skittles Coke, and you can put it in a pot with some more meat and have a stew going.
And then, okay, we're gonna get off the meat train here. We're gonna talk about people peeing on each other at the high school level. That was a thing that we had going on.
Yeah, that's one of my stories too.
A lawsuit at against the archdiocese where these, I guess a kid over at McGill claimed that he was being harassed by an older student urinating on him in the shower.
Right. And then when he allegedly, according to the lawsuit, when he tried to do something about this to retaliate, he did the same thing in return.
Well, he poured
urine on this other kid.
After peeing in
is what
in
the
a bottle,
lawsuit
apparently.
says.
Yeah.
And then this other kid, like, allegedly threw a can of deodorant and hit him in the back of the head and caused some significant brain damage.
It caused him to lose sight in one eye, didn't it?
Lose sight.
Yeah.
He had to have some pretty intense surgeries done to get over that. So his mother has filed a lawsuit against the Archdiocese and McGill on his behalf.
That was a crazy one.
Claiming some negligence there and not dealing with this bullying.
And then, Scott, I know you had something else on Glock switches, which everybody's kind of used to around here, this talk of Glock switches.
It's kind of a mainstay of the street violence. The Glock switches you add them onto basically a Glock or no other pistol, and you can bypass the firing mechanism and make it automatic. So it's a really easy way to get a lot of firepower. It's just
also highly inaccurate.
Yes, maximize damage and without concern of collateral.
Typically, not hitting the person they're shooting at is what we typically see around here. Is that's the person, and so
a lot of collateral damage when you're using one, especially in crowded spots. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Montgomery shooting had involved the golf.
I was gonna say it wouldn't be surprising at all if something like that was involved.
12 people injured.
I mean, now that's
awful.
Pure speculation on our part. I mean, nobody has said that, but that shooting has got a lot of people talking. In the state.
Yeah, but the story I'm covering is it's the AG announced that they are indicting someone on Glock switch charges, which is under a new law that was passed last year. But they're also teaming it up with their criminal enterprise law, which is the anti-gang law that they also passed recently. So there's this kind of this tandem of new criminal statutes that they're enforcing here. So it's interesting to see that stuff start coming down the pipeline and actually having kind of this like RICO style prosecution. You're not charging someone actually involved in the crime. You're charging someone who is a kind of a peripheral figure supplying stuff. So
well, it's good that they're going after that. Well, that's all we've got for this week's, folks. So get out there, get your Halloween decorations done. Try to do them in a non-offensive way that doesn't land you on the international newspaper. So we'll take off for this week. We'll be back next Thursday with the next Lagnapod. Thanks for listening.
The Lagnapod is a Something Extra publishing production. Executive producers are Rob Holbert and Ashley Trice. Music is by Some Pulse Sounds and Electro Animals. Only subscribers like you have access to this podcast. Tell your friends they can sign up at my.lanyapwebbill.com. For advertising opportunities, please call 251-450-4466.